The stick.
Here.
Cherokee Watts.
Oh, honey.
We have a quorum.
Boy, do we. Okay, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the November 14th minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will move to reports, and first we have career services and Diane Kelly.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Madam Chairman.
We will be sending this out electronically, but some of y'all had asked for information in written form, and this was on the phones. I spoke with Keith Dudley this morning, and Keith is going to get information out. This is about the phones that we've been giving out. This is not a Cherokee Nation sponsored thing. We've been working with this phone group to get phones out to the elderly, and all of the 12 listings are at the bottom. They're going to be back out here Friday, December the 16th in the Tribal Council Chambers in the morning. Then they'll be over in the ballroom in the afternoon. And Keith told me that he can get close to 5,000 phones a month, and he will look at going out into the outlining areas after the first of the year. He thinks possibly tomorrow he'll know whether or not he's going to have additional phones after they go out this next week, and he thinks that maybe next week he can go out to one of the field locations, and then thereafter he'll hit the other areas, and we're working with the clinics or the field offices for them to go out to do the free phones. So I'm just getting this information out to you, and then we can put it out on the email as well. You have my report. There was information in there about Frankie. Well, Frankie won that council seat. She's a former adult education instructor. We want to congratulate her. And then also Sue Ann Freeman, one of our academic instructors, a long-time employee, is retiring December the 30th. And we also received word that her husband, Will, who'd been working over in the dorms, is also retiring. So both of them are going to be retiring as of December the 30th. And then Talking Leaves, we didn't actually have to go down to Dallas. They're looking at sending the project officer up here, and we just sent some information down for our option year. One of the things that we wanted to do was that tell you a little bit about some of our people that are coming through the day work training program. I believe it was Councilman Walking Stick who had asked us about the people that were felons. We think there's probably around 10% or more that are coming through day work that are felons in some shape or form. And we've been working with Dr. Boyd. One of the things that we're told is that there is not any kind of mental counseling services that are actually available in terms of some of the counseling that some of these people are needing once they come out of the penal system. We are having very good luck with Rick Ward, who works in our Human Services Office. Rick is working hand in hand with us through the Human Services Office to assist us in getting places for these people to stay in various parts of the 14 counties. We're hoping to look at a group just as a pilot to see if we could put maybe 10 or 12 and have a supervisor and put them in locations where they would not be actually interfacing in homes or with people, but actually going out and doing some general type labor type work in some of our locations. We've had a real successful project down at Salisaw, and we're hoping maybe we can do something maybe up in Delaware County. I've been talking with Councilman Snell about some stuff that he's proposing up there in the Delaware County area, so possibly we'll be able to do something with that after the first of the year. Also, Luann Stoball is our new business tech teacher, and because she's new, she was not aware that we usually give notepads to the council members and the elected officials at Christmas, and she said that she would be glad to get these to you all after the first of the year, so you'll get a New Year's Eve gift from our business tech class, which will have your name with your district on it. So we'll give them to you after the first of the year if it's okay, since she's new and she's getting up to speed. We're having a luncheon over at Job Corps tomorrow for our buildings trade students and our business tech students. This will be their Christmas dinner. If you go by over at the Veterans Center and you happen to stop in over there, Mike Perriman in our buildings trades class has been working on that project. I know it's supposed to be by volunteers, but our buildings trade students are actively engaged in helping to build that. So if you go over there, you'll see some of our trainees over there. Are there any questions? And tomorrow, I'll give you the information on the transit information from Sherry. And I'll also have the information about the construction fairs that we're doing. I've got all that today, but I'll wait till tomorrow and give it to you in a moment.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the group leaders report, and Dr. Morton.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. You have my report, and I'll be happy to try to answer questions if you have questions concerning any item on the report.
Are there questions? Councilor Thornton?
I've got a question, I don't know if it's on the items. If there's a student out here in your district and they started in being funded by the Cherokee Nation and they won a semester and the second semester that they quit, how long do they have to wait to try to get back into the Cherokee Nation funding?
Actually, if they finish that first semester, if they do their community service project, because they probably would not have been funded by the second semester anyway, then they can start next fall.
Well, they was funded second semester.
They were funded second semester and quit, then they receive partial funding starting next fall.
Partial?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Councilor Hoskin?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Is there any policy changes in the works for the higher ed scholarship program? Are you all discussing it?
There may be. There are two departments that I've started a review on, and we'll be completing that review hopefully by the 1st of February. Now, the changes in higher ed that I might recommend would be for this fall. Since we already have so many people in the pipeline, it probably would be kind of confusing on that. But for fall, I anticipate that it would be making recommendations to you for that.
Okay.
And also making some recommendations to you concerning the high school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Those are the two departments that I'm looking at right now in a rather intensive review. Because I think there are some elements, especially, in fact, I'm glad you asked the question, because I think in higher education, there's a possibility that we can be more effectively use the dollars and therefore provide more dollars to students. Okay. And then Mr. Councilmember Walking-Stick, you had asked a question last month about getting copies of the policies for supporting high school for students and so forth. Is that no problem with that whatsoever? However, I have those under.
Okay.
I'm tearing those up now.
Are you?
No, I don't mean it that way. I'm going through
Yeah,
those
yeah.
and will no doubt be coming to the council with clarification more than anything else on some of them. The way some of the policies are written, you can kind of go this way, you can kind of go this way, and I'm afraid that students may be caught in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on that. But again, anytime you want to, if you want to come by the office, why, come by and we'll talk about basketball and everything else.
Is that it, Mr. Hoskin?
Yes, thank you.
Councilor Lay?
Thank you.
Dr. Morton, probably this has come through before. I wonder, I noticed, I know that other tribes sometimes fund a stipend for their students. Have we, or the council, or anybody here ever considered that, or what would it cost us to do that? Have you ever, has that ever come up?
A stipend for
Living expenses
living expenses for,
for our college students who get scholarships from.
in other words, an additional amount for,
Yes.
for living expenses. That has come up in the past, and for several of the students in the past, we've been able to use NAHASDA funds for those that qualified, you know, for on the poverty line. But then we've also talked about the possibility of designated certain funds that would be in addition to the scholarship funds for those that were most needy. However, policy, it never really came out of that. It was just something that was discussed as a need for the future. And it's certainly something that we could discuss.
What would be your feelings on that? Be positive to that or not?
You know, my actual feelings, and probably there may be several of you that would disagree with me on this, but the policy that existed where we awarded every student based on citizenship rather than based on a partial analysis of need. I personally think that the program would operate more efficiently if the award was across the board. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself here on recommendations I may be bringing to you later.
Counselor Walking-Stick?
Hey, Dr. Morton, we spoke about the Section 8 housing for at the NSU campus. On it, there's a certain wing that we have. How are we gonna, I guess, define out, I guess, what students are, if they're dropping out or if they're actually using, because you said some of that funding comes from our NAHASDA or the Section 8 housing.
Section 8, okay.
And possibly using some of that funding, not only at NSU, but at other universities possibly, or do we need to?
Well, that's the way the policy was. In other words, the last time I worked with the council, that was the policy. The policy now is that all of the funds that were available through human services for students to pay for housing, it went wherever the student went to school.
Okay.
The new policy is that money is going to dormitory at NSU.
And that's it. That's the only. That's it. Thank you.
Counselor Jordan?
Dr. Morton, does your department have anything to do with the grants that were applied for by the schools to be, I think the deadline was December 7th, or is that the motor fuel tax?
That would actually be the education department through Johnson O'Malley, yes.
Okay. Do we have any idea how many applications were turned in and how many grants are gonna be given out?
27, I believe, right? 27 were awarded. Now, they probably, all 27 of those probably will not be funded due to the amount of money, even though the money came up this year. But they will be reviewing those in just a short while, and they'll probably go as far as the money will go.
So we had 27 applications.
27, I believe it's 27 applications.
And we haven't determined how many of those are going to be awarded yet.
That has not been determined.
Okay, but the deadline was last week maybe?
Right, when was the deadline, Jennifer? 27.
What is that grant called? I guess I can't think of
I'll
the
have-
name right now.
That's a new one too, so I'll have to
Yeah.
go to Jennifer on that one. What do we call that thing?
It's the motor vehicle tax grant.
It's motor vehicle tax incentive grant, I believe, because it's different from the
Real
amount.
novel, I knew it was motor vehicle tax.
Different from the amount we
I thought
give
maybe there
to
was
the
another
students,
name
to the
for it.
school.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Okay.
Seeing none?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Head Start. Ms. Thompson? Good afternoon.
I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the written report that was submitted.
Are there any? Counselor Jordan.
Carter, when's the people coming back to evaluate the program again?
2013.
2013, okay, so we're good
We're
on.
home free for just a minute, yeah.
And as long as we keep you on the agenda, then that counts towards
Oh,
you
yeah. Oh,
meeting a
yeah.
portion of that audit. Is that correct?
Yes, and Cheryl asked me to remind you there's a meeting Thursday.
Thursday, okay, every Thursday. At 12,
11:30.
11:30, okay.
Thank you. Counselor Thornton.
Verna, I just want to say how much I appreciated the dinner that you served last month. and how
I'm a
good it
good
was.
cook, aren't I?
I don't know about that. I think there was some others taking credit for that back there.
We
But,
conveyed the message to the cooks, and that just makes them feel so good.
We sure
They love what they
appreciate it,
do.
and we'd appreciate you all showing up over here tomorrow.
Oh,
for our dinner.
I shared that with them, so hopefully they'll get a chance to run down here. They love what they do.
They're good at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say amen to what David said.
Oh, okay.
It was an excellent lunch dinner, and I always enjoy going to the
It's tradition by now.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have leadership, high and low.
Cheer on to God. Submitted our monthly report from leadership, and we'll answer any questions. A couple of things I would like to point out. We continue to track the Cherokee hire rate, and this last month was at 84%, which is about our average. That actually has us trending upward overall. About a year ago, we were at just a little over 80%, so anytime we continue to increase on that, we did see a few months dip below our average, but we continue to track upward on that. And then one of the highlights is from the Youth Council. Several of the students that attended the trip to New York City and visited the United Nations, and the students that also attended National Congress of American Indians submitted their report and some text in there, so you might take some time to read through their comments and their highlights. Outside of that, I will entertain any questions.
Are there questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And being December, we have our quarterly report from cultural tourism this month also, and Molly Jarvis is here.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for allowing us to give you an update. We did submit our report. Couple of highlights that have happened since we were here in September. We opened the Chief John Ross Museum on October 21st, and many of you were there for that, and I think we got good coverage from the media and successful event. Our next opening for our museum will be the Cherokee National Prison. We will be installing exhibits in that space in February and then hold a formal ribbon cutting and opening in the spring of 2012. And that will also kick off our tour season for the spring. We just completed the 6th annual Cherokee Art Market at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Again, very successful. We do survey the artists and get feedback from them on how to make it better each and every year. We assisted the Cherokee Heritage Center with launching a new website within the last few months, and what one of the things they really wanted and was important to them is the ability to pay or donate online. So they now have that functionality in this new website that was launched. And the other thing that's been exciting, and we've all been watching, are some new retail items. We have our OU and OSU and NSU Syllabary hats, but with the Bedlam game a couple of weeks ago, and now with our bowl games, the OU and OSU seem to be very hot items. And those are officially licensed, and they're Nike hats, so very, very popular. Those are the highlights I want to share with you, though, and we've been asked in this meeting several times and finally have them. Syllabary scarves and ties available in the retail store. So I can pass these around so you can see what they actually look like. The scarves are $37 and the ties are $32, and they are 100% silk. So they're a very nice item and make a great Christmas gift, and they are available in the retail store today. So that's my sales pitch. They're available in the retail store today. But yeah, they did turn out very nice. I think they'll be very popular. Pardon, 32. Again, they're 100% silk tie, so, and the scarves are also, so.
Did you count them?
I know how many I brought, yes. So, are there any questions for us?
Other questions, Counselor Baker?
Yes. What are the immediate plans, if any, for the Rose Cottage property?
Well, that property was deeded over, I guess that's the right terminology, to the Cherokee Nation from the businesses. I think it's definitely a culturally historic property. We have not developed any formal plans as of yet.
So since you've deeded it over, then
We'll certainly work with natural resources just like we do on all the other properties. I mean, that made sense, and I kind of foresaw it since everything else is owned by Cherokee Nation, being the Supreme Court and the prison and all the other properties that we kind of run as museums today are owned by Cherokee Nation. But we have not put a pen to paper and formalized any definite plans for that property.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Hoskins?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to express my appreciation. I have some friends that are members of the Grange, which is a national and locally based agriculture advocacy organization. They had their national convention in Tulsa, and I believe they worked with your group and did a tour, and they said that literally members from around the country said that this was the best convention they've been to, and they attributed it to the tours they were able to take through your group, and I really do appreciate it.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. We'll certainly pass that along as well.
Counselor Garvin?
Molly, there's a place down on the 64 highway in Sequoia County, just past Illinois River. It's an old courthouse, and I understand it's kind of getting run down, and I don't know if anybody's taking care of it or not, but
Okay.
I think it's an old courthouse about this scale or that.
Oh, were you talking about Talentiski? Oh, okay, well, I do have an update on that. I know the last time we were here in September, Counselor Fishing Hawk asked us a question about Talentiski, so I was prepared to talk about that a little bit. Nothing is firm and definite, but we do have some options. We have been working hard to try to find someone and trying to get really creative on finding someone from that area to be either a caretaker or just to be a presence at the property. I don't remember the actual date, but well, I guess it was December 31st last year. There was a person who had been living there at the property and kind of caring for it, and they moved on. And so since that time, there has been no one on site. We've tried through the Salsa and Roland properties to identify someone who could work there. We tried to reach out to the artist community to try to find someone who could maybe want to even live in the house and kind of oversee the grounds. And we just haven't been successful in identifying anyone to do that. So we do have 3 options that we've identified as possible upgrade options to the site to keep it friendly to visitors who come by there. We had taken a look previously at the log that was kept of who stops by, how frequently, how many people, and there are people that pull off the highway there and are interested in that historical site. So some of the options that we have come up with, but they do require some capital investment that we would have to go and seek approval for. One would be a self-guided tour where we would have either cell phone tours available for someone who stopped there or better signage to identify what's there. The site itself is not the accurate historical location. And there's a little discrepancy about well, it's not a discrepancy, but there's no, I guess, formal agreement on the cabin. It belonged to a family and was moved to that site, but there's no formal paper trail or documentation on giving it over to the Cherokee Nation or that the family still owns it. They're kind of just letting us borrow the cabin. It does need to be kept up. And so the first option that we came up with was this self-guided site. Would require about a $250,000 capital investment. It would allow us to restore the cabin, repair the other structures, add some signage again where people could go and see it on their own, but the buildings would not be open, but the property would be renovated. There's a second one where the site would be fully accessible. That would require about a $300,000 investment. People would be able to go into the building and we would have someone working on site. And then we've also talked about relocating the entire site to a different place along I-40. Again, where it is today is not the historically significant site. It's not accurate, so we didn't feel like the potential to move it would cause any problem to a better location on I-40 where it's more easily accessible. But again, that would require about $1 million capital investment. So again, we've got some options, but we have not developed the formal plan or recommended it to our business board at all.
Do we own the property there, and if so, how many acres do we?
Cherokee Nation does own the property. I don't know, do you know? We can find that out. I don't think it's a lot. I mean, it's a small
Looks pretty
space.
small.
Yeah, it's just that
Thank you,
little
Mary Jo.
triangle type shape.
Molly, when we had the Summer Abroad in the Cherokee Nation program last year, this was one of the sites that they visited, and there was a man from Northern California who at that time expressed an interest in the possibility of living there in the cabin and working there. Who would they contact if?
They can contact me, absolutely.
Send them to you, huh? Okay.
And we've had a couple people who've come along and said that, but we just haven't worked anything formal out yet.
Okay,
Or they haven't kind of followed, they haven't carried through with it.
okay.
But yeah, definitely, I would love to be in touch with someone.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Thornton?
Yes, I think, I'd like it if you would entertain, maybe checking with the marshal service and see if we could get a marshal in down there, since
Okay.
we don't have one that's living down in that area.
Right.
And can cover Muskogee and Sequoia and McIntosh counties
Okay.
while overseeing that, property.
Absolutely, okay, we can do that.
I think if they, get an opening or something, that they need to bring someone down in that area back.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I do think we have some risk for vandalism and those types of things at the site.
I personally have been out on the back up down there for a couple properties. and
Okay,
I don't like going out after dark and doing that.
okay.
I will.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we move
Gather
to
my wares.
old business, and there's none pending. And under new business, we have a presentation from the Cherokee Nation Foundation and Kimberly Gilliland. This was a presentation that Kimberly shared with me a couple of months ago, and I found it pretty impressive. And so I asked if she would be willing to give us a demonstration here of what they've been up to.
Yeah.
Was you running on reserve batteries? Okay.
I told you not to touch it.
Should've just left it on the whole time. Stand by and wait for blinking before the fire button. Cook a cool down. Usually takes a few minutes to cool down. Did you turn it off? Did you turn it off? I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to turn it off. Oh, yeah, it'll take a minute. Okay. Can I get the info
does it work so well for you?
Okay.
Thinking. I went off the same time the projector did.
You might see if that remote's gonna work, because you may have to shut this. Loading. When it comes on, when the PowerPoint comes on, test the buttons there. If you need me to run it, I can just advance them for you.
Usually technology always gets the best of me. This is part of a larger presentation that I did for the National Scholarship Providers of America back in Nashville. And it's an hour-and-a-half presentation, but I'm going to cut it down to what's really pertinent today, which is our youth development programs. Let me get us lined up here. The Cherokee Nation Foundation is a 501c3 incorporated under the Cherokee Nation. We've been in existence since 1998. I'm going to have to pace back and forth, so I apologize. And our sole goal is our mission is to provide higher educational opportunities to the Cherokee Nation.
You want to take a podium and I'll advance it
Thank
for
you.
you?
Cherokee Nation citizens, and to help revitalize the Cherokee language. This year, aside from our scholarships, which we've been providing for the last 10 years, we've developed an educational pipeline. We partnered up with Cherokee Nation businesses as part of their citizen development initiative. Thank you. And designed a number of youth programs. Our youth development programs, please move forward. When we went back and we looked at some of the educational issues that we were having in our schools, is we found that we needed to start our educational pipeline much, can you go to the next one, please? Our educational pipeline much earlier. And we found that for college prep, we really needed to start in the elementary schools. So we partnered up with Junior Achievement out of Tulsa, and we selected 15 different schools throughout the Cherokee Nation. Our key goal was to have one school in each of the 14 counties. And our first program we did is what's called BizTown. BizTown is geared toward 4th and 5th graders. And what we did, and the BizTown Center is actually located in Tulsa, and it's a wonderful center. It's a warehouse that has been converted to a small town. So students can go in and participate in different jobs and roles, and it's part of their school curriculum. So when they get there, they're going to be able to manage their checkbook. They're going to open up their own bank account. They get paid twice throughout the day, and they're given job duties. They have to interview for their job. They elect their own mayor. And what we did here is, aside from putting the programs in schools, we took it a step further and we put the Cherokee Phoenix into BizTown. So we are actually the official newspaper for BizTown, Oklahoma. And what this did is it helps students from all over Oklahoma, not just our 14 counties, to see the vast economic role that the Cherokee Nation actually plays in Oklahoma's overall economy. You can see this is our first class, which was Marietta. 117 students showed up, and this was our first Cherokee Phoenix class.
What we have done is we've tried to partner up as many Cherokee schools as possible, and on February 15th, we have it's a 95% Cherokee rate student population coming through, which will consist of Cherokee Immersion, Rocky Mountain, Marble City, and Ketchum. And what we've done, because the immersion is going to be there, is we've actually helped Junior Achievement rewrite some of the curriculum. So words like money and bank and balance and institutes, words like that will now become part of the curriculum for all of Junior Achievement programs, whether we're sponsoring them or not. We wanted to show some continuity and be able to track financial literacy and development, not just through test scores, but through our own programs. So all of the schools that start with BizTown will eventually move into middle school and have economics for success. We've had a number of schools already go through and participate in the program and complete. It's a 6-session series. Most of our partnerships are going to happen within the school hour. Some of ours, we have partnered up with JOM programs, so some of our programming will actually be after school, but something that is key in all of these programs is it's run by volunteers. So we have 125 volunteers from Cherokee Nation businesses and Cherokee Nation Entertainment that are participating in all these programs. This is actually a video, which I don't think we have time for, but this is the company program. This is the program that's implemented into 3 of the high schools right now. Sequoia High School just completed their company program, and this initiative allows high school students to team up and they open their own business. They're responsible for investment, monitoring their investment, and reporting out their business projections and incomes. And after they have finished their company session, they go on and compete at a national scale. And that's what this video was about. It's JA and national and international. And last year, Union High School out of Tulsa actually placed first in North America. And they played first in the United States and third in North America. And so this year we have an initiative that Sequoia High School, Ketchum High School, and Catoosa will actually compete with Union High Schools in an investor challenge. And hopefully we'll see one of our schools progress to the national level as well. High school, sorry, that's our video. And these, you can see that we really tried to target throughout the 14 counties. We have received funding for 15 particular schools. We've actually launched 16 classrooms already, and we have managed to raise private funds, so we will add another 15 schools this spring. So that means we'll have over 30 junior achievement classrooms and programs running for the 2011-2012 school year. Thank you. Something I mentioned earlier is one of the things we really wanted to address when we took on this is we really wanted to help make this program our own. And those of you who know what junior achievement it is a very large national program. But we felt that it was important that not just of our immersion children, but all of our Cherokee Nation citizens had the opportunity to learn Cherokee along the way. And all of our programming will eventually be done in the Cherokee language. The immersion school will start using economics of success in their 6th grade starting this spring. There are a number of benefits that we tried to set up. What we're trying to do through all of our youth development programs is to set up initiatives and benefits that will encourage students to participate in all of these programs in order with the end goal being university. So students that do participate on a volunteer basis within junior achievement will receive community hours. They are the first priority for our Cherokee College Preparatory Institute, which I'll explain later on in the presentation, as well as they do qualify for additional foundation scholarships, as well as scholarships from junior achievement. And that's the eligibility. They all of our for these programs, they must be Cherokee Nation citizens. And for the junior achievement programs that I mentioned above, they must reside within the 14 counties. However, next fall we're going to be launching a virtual junior achievement class, which hasn't been done before, but that will be we'll pilot with some of our at-large students.
All of these programs are geared up to lead toward college prep, and we've set up an additional programs. This was based on the old, there was previously a Cherokee Scholars Program, and it's based on the Oklahoma Scholars. And what we've done is we have opened up our scholarship application for students that are following STEM curriculum. We have found that here in Oklahoma, students aren't required to take many of the math and science courses that will help them succeed in college in degrees like finance, mass marketing, and especially engineering. Cherokee Scholars helps students make that commitment early on. Students will be recruited 7th, 8th, and 9th grade to become part of the Cherokee Scholars Program. They are required to take 3 years of math, 3 years of science, as well as foreign language, and additional credits that they wouldn't necessarily need to graduate. If students do complete this STEM curriculum every semester that they complete, we set up a college fund for them. Every semester completed, we put $500 in their college fund, and upon graduation, they should have a $4,000 scholarship waiting for them. Now, the scholarship isn't necessarily handed in a check. We hold on to these funds, and we help the students manage their funds throughout college. And the idea behind this is to help students alleviate student loan debt, so we can hold on to these funds until their junior or senior year if they need. That we took this to another level. We found that some students do make that extra effort, and we felt that they really should be awarded. And for students that do take Cherokee language classes, participate in the Cherokee Nation's history course, as well as do additional community service, the foundation is now going to match it for another $4,000. So these students will graduate with an $8,000 scholarship. Now, all of these students, it's not just sign up and attend and submit your transcripts. They all are assigned a scholarship coordinator. So when they start preparing for university, they're going to have somebody that will help guide them through the essay and application process all the way into university. Once they're in university, they stay within our pipeline in order for us to help them make adjustments. Which brings us to our College Preparatory Institute. Everything we talk about does have a little bit of overlap in order to tie things together. This summer, June 17th to June 22nd, we're going to launch the first Cherokee College Preparatory Institute. I've been calling it camp, and it's certainly not camp. It's a residency camp. It's going to be 5 days. We're going to host it here at Sequoia. Could you please skip forward? Yeah. And it's going to be supported with programming that leads up to the camp. We're going to have 4 weekend sessions in Ketchum, Catoosa, Fort Gibson, and Sallisaw. These weekend sessions will be open to 180 students, and it provides the JA curriculum, Careers with a Purpose. But at the same time, we're going to offer ACT. It's a crash course in ACT prep. Students that are interested in improving their ACT entrance exam scores can come back the next weekend for a crash course in an 8-hour session. They're going to receive a copy of this particular book because we've partnered up with the Princeton Review Foundation. And hopefully what we hope to achieve by this is to see an increase in our ACT scores, but because it's an intensive version, this particular course is actually 6 weeks, and it consists of almost 15 hours a week of preparation. So for our Cherokee scholars, they're going to be our test group to see how functional this program is. This program, there'll be 90 students that come out of this 180, which will get priority to the preparatory camp. We are going to take 90 students into the prep camp, and students are this is an intense 5 days. We're going to go through, with students and parents, the step-by-step going through the FAFSA, but students will also go through 5 days of personal finance, success skills, interview skills. The American Indian Graduate Center is arriving along with other members of the Gates Millennium Scholarship, and they will actually assign essay topics at the beginning of the week, and then the essay writing process will continue till day 5, at which point we expect students to have their applications and essay ready for early submission that October. At that time, students will be assigned a scholarship coordinator as well that will keep track and help them with their recommendation letters as well as counselor support up until that November deadline. So we expect to have, our goal is 90% of our students will have early acceptance. Our scholarships. We get a lot of questions on our scholarships. All of our scholarships are funded by private donation. So we do function a little bit differently than Ed Services. We are a merit-based scholarship provider, and what means is we do ask that our students maintain a pretty high GPA. They are expected to be representatives of not only the foundation, but good representatives of our nation as well. This year we set up a $1 million endowment at OSU University. We took advantage of the Pickens Legacy Fund, at which point we got a 2-for-1 match. We have already started issuing scholarships under this, and as the endowment grows, we expect to be able to fund 16 full ride scholarships at OSU every year starting in year 3. We were also very fortunate this year that the Farrington family left a wonderful endowment in Marty Farrington's name. This is a $70,000 book fund, which is open to all of our scholarship applicants. This is a list of all of our scholarships, and I won't go through all of them, but you can see that we have 3 different types of scholarships. We have our privately funded scholarships, which are donor driven. We have institutional scholarships at IAIA, OSU. We now have one at NSU, and we do have some at Bacone. And then we do help administer a tribally funded scholarship for our at-large citizens, which was contributed by Mr. Jack Baker and Dr. Julia Coates. All of our not all of it, 85% of our scholarships are available to at-large citizens as well. The Cherokee Promise Plus program is a new program that we have at NSU. We've partnered with the Cherokee Nation and NSU. And you're probably familiar with the Cherokee Promise program, which is the dormitory that was set up, and Dr. Morton made reference to it earlier, the NAHASDA floor. The majority of the students on the floor are NAHASDA eligible. We fund 5 students that are not. Our 5 students, we partnered with NSU, so it's a 1-to-1 match, and this allows for 5 students that wouldn't necessarily qualify for this program to actually participate. So it's the first year we're doing this, and we already have interest from OSU to do a similar program. This is our biggest new scholarship. In the past, we had launched a zero interest loan program as a pilot program, and the funds are based on repayment. We do have a repayment is happening just at a slower rate than we anticipated. So we will have additional funds for our loan program this January. However, we've also partnered up with Cherokee Nation businesses in order to find them recruits for majors such as finance, engineering, mass communication, marketing, and corporate law. And what we've done is we've partnered with diversity departments and Native American alumni groups all around the United States to identify students in their junior and senior years that might be interested in working for Cherokee Nation business. And we either provide a tertiary loan, which means a final funding loan, or we provide debt forgiveness. And this will help alleviate college loans at the end of graduation as well. I'm almost done. Special events. We just finished this. This was when we were going through and evaluating what our students need in order to get into university. We realized that our school counselors and our JOM coordinators and our school librarians don't have enough current information in order to help the students. So this, at the beginning of November, we hosted our first counselor enrichment event, and we had participants from the Gates Millennium Foundation, the American Graduate Institute, as well as the Princeton Review attend and do breakout sessions with, we had over 90 school counselors and JOM coordinators attend, but we also had, I think they're listed up there, the universities that came in to participate and provide admissions information and contact to these school counselors where they didn't exist before. And some of the noted ones up there are Dartmouth College and MIT. It was the first time MIT had actually come and participated in a program like this. And that's it for our youth development. That was a lot of information really quick. Does anyone have any questions?
Are there questions? Ms. Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. And so, there's a couple of, so when you're going to foundations, one of the things they ask is if, even though Cherokee Nation Businesses is committed and there's a partnership, we have not provided any money, is that correct, as the government?
The government doesn't provide any funding for programming, no. You did offer us, and we're grateful for the, a match. I was required to raise $50,000 and you matched our $50,000.
Okay,
But
so
that
you
goes to
do-
operations, yeah.
Okay, so you do have something that you can, when you go to foundations for fundraising and stuff, then there's a relationship there that you can account for, that they're gonna expect when you,
Yes, this will be the first year that's been in place.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanna make sure, and then, I thank you again for everything, and I hope that we can continue to get regular reports on all of this and provide time for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? This is just enormously exciting stuff. I'm, as somebody who is gonna get these kids on the tail end of this whole process, I'm really anticipating good students coming through.
We're
Big
excited to
pipeline.
be participating.
Yeah,
It's great.
just Very cool.
My son is in the immersion school, and he got in the car the other day, and he goes, "Oh, have you heard of this thing called BizTown?" And I was like, well, yeah. So yeah, it's great to see they're excited, everybody's excited about learning, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any announcements? I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor?
Great.